So, good evening, Stephanie. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Mona.
So, it's 5 o'clock over here, and I know we have a lot of other people from abroad, and maybe it's morning for them, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Today we start into our second round. And the second round is now radical knowledge management. Your favorite piece of cake.
Absolutely my favorite.
So, why is there a need for radical knowledge management? What do you think?
It's been all this stuff gets educated out of us. We've become so focused on technology and being efficient and effective, and we think that humans are just some kind of biological
Computer.
machine.
Yeah.
Sorry? Yeah, machine
Yeah.
or robot or something. And so we treat ourselves like that, and we have thrown out all these things that we think aren't important: creativity, playfulness, all of these things that really do help us, help our brains work better, help us to actually be more productive, although they're not, on the face of it might not look that way.
Yeah.
But there's lots of research that says, and lots of books with the research that back this up. And so Radical KM is about going back. Knowledge management is ultimately about learning. And
Yes.
so and I kind of look at it like just in time learning, or not even
Mhm.
on the job learning, but just in time. That's like, oh, I don't know how to do this process. I don't know how to do this. I need, quickly to look it up, or I need to find somebody that can help me, and that.
Yeah.
And so it's that just in time. I have a need, and I have a gap in my own knowledge, and I need to go out and find it someplace.
Yeah. So, and radical knowledge management is something different, right?
Well, it adds on to that.
Mhm.
It's a piece that's been missing, at least from my perspective. It's been missing because it gets educated out of us, because we focus on science and math and
Yeah.
technology and all these things. And I did too when I was in school. It was, this was the thing. You were, arts and stuff that wasn't for me. I didn't do art after grade 7 or 8. I think was the last. So I was 13, 14, 13, I guess. The last time I had an art class.
Mhm.
And so, but there's a lot of benefit to it, to our brains, and how we see the world, and how we, the connections that we make, and the ideas that we come up with. And so it's something that the creativity and arts-based interventions that are part of Radical KM,
Mhm.
going back to that playfulness and that creativity, tapping into our inner artists, that all has been educated over. So Radical KM is about bringing it back in and saying, hey, wait a minute, we've missed a piece of the puzzle here. We need to add it back in.
Yeah.
So
So for me, it's something like we need more creativity. We need more, and creativity leads us to innovation. And what you said is we missed it.
we did, and we do, and I think earlier, things weren't happening so quickly. We had a little bit more time, but now the pace of change, and the sort of the chaos and the confusion, and the VUCA world that we live in, right? Volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, demands that we have these skills reactivated that have been educated out of us, because not only do we need them, like you say, creativity, innovation, problem solving, but also the mental health and wellness, and the team building, that learning to collaborate. And this
Mm.
is one of the things that I've really noticed over the pandemic, is when I'm a big fan of working from home or working remotely. I think there's a ton of stuff that can be done, but you also then have to be very conscious and purposeful in connecting to people, in creating those relationships, and creating the space to create those relationships. It's not just a jump on the Zoom, here's the agenda, we're done in half an hour or 45 minutes, and everybody's shortening the meetings because they don't want to be on Zoom so long, which I get. Zoom exhaustion is absolutely, or Zoom fatigue is absolutely a thing. But when we are spending our time online, we need to have the time to have chit chat, to build the trust, to get to know each other, and how to collaborate. And so, the arts-based intervention stuff that I do is one way of doing that, and introduce some fun, because we learn better when we're having fun, and we create better connections when we're having fun. This is my, cue for my clown nose, fun. So, because it can be as easy as that, as easy as a clown nose.
Laughing is part of it.
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah. So it's very, it's good to have the importance to see the interference of people. So the socializing during and before you do all the hard stuff, I say, so within meetings. So it's good to like you do it on face-to-face meetings, when you go to customers, when you meet with your colleagues. So you always do a little bit of socializing before and after, or in between, to get everything so a little bit lighter and fluffier and things like that.
Yeah, have that personal connection. So yeah, I mean, there's been working meetings that I've done online, that we've scheduled an hour and a half for the meeting, but we've spent the first 45 minutes or even an hour sometimes just talking about what was going on, challenges that we were both facing, not dealing with the agenda of the meeting at all until that, like I say, 45-minute or the hour mark. And then we jump in and go, oh, okay, this is what we want to do. And we have everything put together in 20 minutes. But we couldn't have started at the beginning and just pulled the agenda up and got through it, because we had other things on our minds, and we didn't have that kind of connection with the other person. And so taking the time to speak and understand, challenges and problem solve and things for things that weren't related to the project really made a difference in how we were able to solve the problem that we were there to solve. So yeah, it's that connection that.
And I also think that time now, we need the connection of people more than ever, because of the machines, the tools which come up, and you see KI coming up, and it's all about tools. No, it's the humans are now this is something we need to transport more, right?
Yeah, and a lot of the presentations and keynotes and things I'm doing this year are about helping the humans in an AI world.
Yeah.
This is what Radical KM is about, is helping the humans, is helping us tap into those skills. We'll never beat the computers, nor should we. We shouldn't even be in that competition, and yet somehow our organizations put us in these competitions with the technology. We can't beat technology. We need to strengthen the things that technology can't do. Technology can't be creative. It's derivative. It's not going to come up with anything new. We need to do that. So we need to tap into our inner artists. We need to tap into those skills that, we've been told through school and through university and college and, social pressure that, we've been told, oh no, we don't do that here. We're here just to seriously crunch numbers, and, well, no, it's not really how people work.
Yeah, and this is something I heard from you before, because everything related to the workspace, we need more creativity. We need more in the future. We need more people who are problem solvers and things like that. This is and better communication and things like that. This is something what is needed in the future. It's the personality. It's that what humans are.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's that sense of belonging and connection, that yeah, that's missing, that we've lost. The more we get tied into technology and social media, and on one hand, social media is nice to connect with people, and I moved to Berlin from Toronto almost 9 years ago. It's been a nice way to stay in touch with people, but it's not the same as going out and meeting people. So it's important to find the balance. And it's the same with our workplaces too. Like I said, I'm a big supporter of working remotely, but there are absolutely times that we need to be face to face. And so, it's about using then the office space wisely. So this is a key, moment to bring in some arts-based interactions and interventions, or solutions. I've started calling them arts-based solutions. you know because we're all in the room together. Let's do some of that work, that innovation, that creativity, that team building, that emotional what awareness and connection, while we're together, because being together definitely adds another layer to it that we don't get online.
Yeah, but this is something I like to point out, because on Zoom there is also a good way to connect very deeply, and also to learn and how to interact with the people. It's the mindset, in my opinion. So you just can do if you want to.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Um, the relationships that I have built online and never have met the person,
Yeah,
absolutely, it's because we both, or we all have the mindset of, let's figure out a way to make this work. It's not just about
yeah,
taking the in-person mindset, going, okay, we're going to do it online and we're going to have this 30-minute meeting with this agenda and be done. No, we need
yeah,
to have some time for open discussion about whatever is going on, and checking in, and doing something playful, and having the discussion around what came up during that, and then jump into the meeting. So and move some of the stuff. I see this talked about a lot too. There are things that we're used to having meetings for that really could be done asynchronously. And so move that stuff and do it asynchronously, so that when you're either on Zoom or you're actually in person, that you're doing the stuff that really benefits, that you need to have that discussion, that it can't be an email, or can't be a WhatsApp or a Slack chat or something. It's something that requires richer engagement and exchange.
yeah. Yeah, and this is the same with technology sometimes. So with other technology, so what you can put aside into another format from technology, do it. So, but have the interconnection with people, with humans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
absolutely.
I think this is a need for radical KM. So in knowledge management, the radical stands for,
Yeah. Arts-based interventions or arts-based solutions, and it's the introduction of those activities into the processes, into the knowledge flows,
mm,
to help innovate, to create new solutions, to create new, to problem solve, and but also the human aspect of it, like that interpersonal, team building aspect of it. And there's a leadership development aspect of it as well, and people, I have like a dozen use cases for radical KM, and I probably could come up with a few more if I took some more time and read some more research, but 12 is pretty good. And people go to me, oh no, but just one. But it can't be just one. I can't say, oh well, we're going to use arts-based interventions for innovation, which is a great use case, because in doing the arts-based interventions or arts-based solutions or arts-based experiential learning, whatever we want to call it, doing those artistic interventions activities, spills over because of how our brain works and the neuroscience behind it. It spills over into wellness and mental health and sense of connection and sense of belonging and, all of these other things. So I can't cut those out.
Yes.
And, you take one, you take them all.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And this is something I learned in the past. It's when you're a brain worker, so you need something to do with your hands to get more creativity and different flow into your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And this coaching course I just finished, which I know we're going to talk about next time. um, we do exercises with thinking with your hands, and it was really interesting to see what came up, even though we're not, we're just working with bits of paper and popsicle sticks and, craft items really that you might do crafts with your kids for, but using them as representational of something else. And building little things and that represent something else, and but thinking then through the process and who the stakeholders are, and well, what about this stakeholder we've forgotten, we need to find them a place on our map, and
Yeah.
and all this other things, that staring at a PowerPoint deck or a Word document or even a mind map. And I like mind maps, but
Yeah.
there's something about getting physical and using, using our hands and using a bit of paint and using some markers and some popsicle sticks. And it's fun, but it also gets our brains working differently and making some different connections and asking some different questions.
And asking different questions. Yes. My question now is this all for strengthening the personality and also the organization?
Yes. Both.
Both.
And actually I would say it's all, there's three. There's individual, so there's the person, there's team, and then there's the organization part. So yeah, it goes out on
So
all levels.
it might be a very good idea to get the team out of the room, out of the organization, and do some really creative stuff so that they get their minds out of their offices, out of their work, to get new ideas and find new ways to work, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of organizations are still doing at least, quarterly or annual, depends on how big the organization is, but some kind of, I'm going to say, annual planning meeting, for budgets and for, projects and things. And so this is a great opportunity to come together. And I know when I was at HP, we used to do that probably about once a year. We would come together, the team would come together and do some planning, and we would do, I wish I had some of these activities then, because I think some of those meetings would have been a lot different, a lot more fun, but not quite so stressful. But the things that can come out of using these activities and is really quite remarkable and really paradigm shifting.
Yeah. And
So,
that's something also when you have a lot of hybrid teams. So meaning they sit in different locations, they work mostly remote. And this is something really good for them, meeting each other once and then doing some fun together.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I remember a long time ago, before I started anything to do with arts, but we had a team meeting when I was at HP, and we'd worked together for 9 months or so. And then we came together, and we, for planning and for project and all that, those work kind of purposes. But one afternoon we took the afternoon off, and I actually facilitated a part of the activity was a paper airplane competition.
Ah,
Um, so we broke up into teams and, and figured out who could fly the paper airplanes the farthest, the teams, and it was good fun, and it was, and it was funny, and we got really competitive, but also had a lot of fun at the same time. And that time that we spent together, that was the only time that we were together in all the time that we worked together. And we probably worked together for 3 of the 4 years that I was in KM, and it really changed how we worked together, because we'd spent the time and we'd had a bit of fun, and we'd done serious things too, but we'd had this bit of fun with the airplane, and we had some meals together and that kind of thing too. So yeah, this is all about KM and sharing knowledge and learning together, and radical KM.
Radical KM, yeah. It's a lot of stuff. And where is the gap? Why do you think companies, organizations don't see the use, the need for it at the moment? Why is it so hard to bring it into their organizations?
I think it's a mindset. I think they're caught in a old mindset, this industrial production line mindset, and haven't, for whatever reason, made the shift, partly because our universities, like, you don't see this kind of stuff in universities, which is too bad, because there is a lot to be learned and a lot of experience, and there are some business schools that are starting to do it as part of their MBA programs, creating a studio space and doing arts-based interventions, and so it's just not happening fast enough. People are, it's just different than what they've been taught, and they've been taught well, and so there's a lot of hesitancy, a lot of looking around and going, oh, well, nobody else is doing it. Well, yeah, they are, because there's a whole bunch of research that talks about the benefits and how to do this stuff, and there are, and this is one of the things that struck me when I moved to Berlin, the number of people that I got connected with in Europe, and in the last few years, even in North America, even though I couldn't find them when I was actually living there, there are people doing it. They're just not talking very loud about it, because there's still this, oh, well, we're doing something outside of the norm, outside of, what's expected by the business schools. And yet, Harvard Business Review publishes articles on this kind of stuff occasionally, research has been done. So it's happening. It's just not getting the attention it deserves. AI takes up a lot of airspace lately. So
yeah, but this is something when I see AI coming up so quickly, and all the other stuff, then there is something, because AI and humans, so it's something not clashing, because AI needs the humans, and also knowledge management tools need the humans, and the humans need the something to relax, to get resilient, to get their point into it, so to get more innovative and creative. So this is something we need much more in the future.
absolutely.
And we should start earlier. Perhaps it would be a very, very good idea to build this into all business schools.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's building resilience. So
it is, and it's really necessary. And you're right. I mean, the humans need this help. We're not technology. We're not robots. We're humans, and we should do what humans do, and leave the technology to crunching some numbers and things, like, let it do that. But yeah, help the humans, and we talked about this, I think, a little bit last week in the first episode. AI needs good KM, so that you're not doing a garbage in, garbage out. But it's the same kind of thing with humans. Humans need, the things that make them human, is strengthen, their creativity and their communication and their emotional intelligence and communication, and so that they can be better knowledge workers. so that they know, they remember what they know the right questions to ask, how to use the AI properly so that they get, useful information out, not just more garbage. So it's the radical KM and arts-based interventions are a way of giving the humans what they need so that they can be better knowledge workers, be more productive.
Of course, yeah. Is there something you would like to share with people who are not that familiar with all that stuff? Yeah. What can they do? What should they do to get more of an open mindset and bring this? How can they incorporate all these things smoothly into their organizations? What do you think?
I always tell people to start small. Don't don't jump into the deep end. Start small. Start with clown nose. Start with some of the guided visualization stuff that I do, or the little scribble drawings, the little 5-minute intervention things. We all have 5 minutes. We think we don't have 5 minutes, but we really have 5 minutes. And because the meetings expand to take the amount of time that we give them. So let's give it 55 minutes instead of 60 and take 5 minutes to do a scribble drawing. And so start small, start with some, if they're uncomfortable with it, I have training classes and workshops and stuff that I do. I have my little online course that helps people get, introduced to the idea a little bit in an asynchronous, way. But yeah, and I know we're going to talk about this, a bit more next week is coaching. There's lots of, I'm not the only one, there's lots of people out there that are doing coaching in this space, to help organizations. And so this is another solution too, to have somebody come in and do, everybody has coaches. So I was interested at a conference a few weeks ago and was talking to an agile coach, and she was busy scribbling down notes about things that I said, to add to her toolbox as an agile coach, of how to facilitate, get people thinking differently, problem solving differently. So, yeah.
There are a lot of things out there which everybody can use. So I only think about liberating structures.
Yeah.
These things are getting more and more and becoming much more interest in all organizations. Just give it a try, I would like to say.
Give it a try. The hardest thing is the stories that we tell ourselves about why we can't do something. And once you get past that, and I always say to people, I do a lot of work with KM teams, with knowledge management teams. And so I always say, start with a knowledge management team, do the course together, or, plan it all together, and start with the team, and so that the team gets used to it and comfortable with the idea, so that then when they're going out and doing other meetings with other parts of the organization, they can take these activities and do it with other parts of the organization. So it's getting over that story, but I always say too, approach it as an experiment. Some organizations will adopt more quickly than others, or some will like some kinds of activities more than others. I have improv games for people that aren't quite ready for the art stuff, the drawing things, although people surprise you with that too, and are often quite willing, especially if everybody else is doing it. They'll jump on and give it a try. And this is the leadership aspect of it. People look to the leaders, to look to, and that I'm not necessarily mean managers in the hierarchy. I mean people in the organization that they perceive as having those skills. And so, when you start doing that, when the KM team starts doing that, the KM team has a leadership role in the organization, even though oftentimes they're organizationally off in some corner someplace. They absolutely have a role in knowledge flows through the organization. And so this is a way to start spreading it out.
Incorporate everything, so and also get the people involved.
Yeah.
I think this is a good a good lead to our last talk next week, Monday, same time. There's everything all around the coaching aspect, how it can be used, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Incorporated.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Yes, me too. So many, many thanks, Stephanie. Have a nice evening and see you next week, Monday.
See you next week.
Bye.